In this video, I want to show you a few little adjustments to your fight stance. So you can be a little bit more dynamic, you can be a little bit harder to hit, and you'll be able to hide your strikes in order so you can deliver them on target. And remember, big improvements don't come from revamping your entire game. Best improvements come from small, tiny little adjustments. You know, where to keep your hand, how to position your foot, something you're doing wrong by just simply shifting and repositioning. All of a sudden you're changing your entire game and you can execute that move better. So tiny little adjustments will usually give you the most improvements. So when it comes to the fight stance, in the course we went into detail on the fundamental fight stance, where to keep your legs, how to position your body, where to keep your hands, where to keep your head. But I want to give you that tiny little extra adjustment on top of your fundamental fight stance. So hit your fight stance, position yourself, and the first thing you want to be sure that you are implementing is being relaxed and loose when you're in your fight stance. You don't want to be tensed up. Fighting is all about relaxation and tension, and that kind of dynamic playing between the two. So when you hit your fight stance, you want to be very loose and relaxed. No tension whatsoever in your arms. You're completely relaxed, ready to explode, ready to strike. Right? So in your fight stance, make sure that you are loose and relaxed. Next thing is, you do not want to stand like a statue. You know, once you hit your fight stance, you don't want to just be an immovable object and just stand still. You want to be able to move. You want to be able to shift around a little bit more. If you are standing still and then you decide to strike, when you strike, I can see your movement. So if you are going from standing still and then beginning to strike, when you move, I know you're about to strike. So you want to be able to hide your strikes in movement. So when you hit your fight stance and you are relaxed, you want to begin to integrate movement of your fight stance. Start with the hands. Begin to shift your hands around a little bit. You know, kind of like a video game character on, you know, on a selection screen. They just kind of stand there and they just kind of cycle between their animation. That's what you kind of want to be doing. Stand in your fight stance and begin to integrate a little bit of hand movement. This allows you to hide your striking because you're already moving your hands. Alright, so when I move my hands a little bit, you don't want to make exaggerated movements, but you want to just shift your hands a little bit, move them around, and that will allow you to strike a little bit better, because now your opponent doesn't really know when you're going to strike because you're already in movement. So next, in addition to moving your hands a little bit, you want to start integrating moving your body a little bit more as well. So now you're adding another element. So now you're standing here, got your hands up, move your hands a little bit, and now you're kind of moving your body a little bit, trying to hide your movement. So now you're a little bit more elusive, and you'll be able to hide your strikes and deliver them on target better. So now you got your hands, and now you got your shoulders, now you got your upper body kind of moving. And then you want to integrate better footwork, moving around with your feet. So now you got your hands, you got your body, and now you got your feet. You want to, this is not footwork to move in, close the distance or begin to attack. It's all about just kind of that, the fight stance adjustment, okay? So you're not going to be trying to come in and strike or trying to move out. You're basically just kind of moving around the same spot a little bit more. So now you got your hands, you got your body, and you got your feet moving, and just kind of moving around. So now, before, I'm standing here waiting, ready to strike. When you strike, I'll see it. With all those points now incorporated, now you can move a little bit. Now it's harder to tell what you're going to do. Are you going to move in? You're going to go for a takedown? Are you setting up your kicks? Are you moving? It's a lot harder to judge and telegraph your punches because now you are already in movement, and it's a lot easier to execute your strikes when you're already moving, and your opponent is going to have a hard time telling when you're going to do that. So you're hiding your strikes in movement. So remember, don't exaggerate. You don't need to, you know, bring your hands up, be in improper fight stance, open yourself up. It's all about just small little adjustments, small little movements. You know, I don't need to move around a lot. Just right here, stand in front of the bag, Hands up, loose, relaxed, moving, picking my shots, deciding what I'm gonna strike. Shifting around a little bit, coming in. Maybe I'll step back outside in the striking range, kind of reset myself, keep my hands down, and as I come back into fighting range, into striking range, my hands are coming up and I'm moving in, picking my shot, trying to decide what I'm gonna do. That way, if he strikes on me, I'll be able to move because I'm already moving. That split second of movement allows me to escape, move, as well as allows me to now attack. I'm already moving, hands up. I'm hiding my strikes in the movement. Extremely important little adjustment to your fight stance that will, a lot of times, can change everything just by integrating a little bit of movement into your fight stance. And remember, kind of going back, when I was talking about stepping back so you can change things off, you do not want to have your hands down when you are in striking range. So it's okay to keep your hands down when you're outside the striking range. You might want to relax, shake things off, kind of move, do that boxer kind of footwork where you jump around. As soon as they begin to come in, or you begin to come in into striking range, you should be able to get your hands up and begin to fight and start implementing more methodical approach, kind of deliberate. When you're outside, yeah, shake things off, walk around, drop your hands. You'll be able to see them come in if they start moving on you. But as soon as you get into a striking range, you want to start getting your hands up, get into your fight stance, and begin to implement the tiny little movements, little shuffle step, body movement, hand movement. This will add a lot to your striking, and just by implementing small little adjustment to your fight stance. So do this in shadow boxing, and do this on the bag, and of course do this in sparring. Now, if you want to get deeper into how to assume the proper fight stance and begin to execute your 4 fundamental strikes better, your jab, your cross, your lead hook and rear uppercut, and then throwing them in combinations, as well as how to begin drilling all of those punches, the 4 essential strikes that every fighter needs to master, take a look at the course that I released. It's Fundamental 4. There'll be a link either down below, somewhere above, wherever you're watching this. There'll be a link to get the course, and the course covers everything in detail on how to build that proper groundwork. So I'll see you in the course.